Welcome back to another edition of Better Baseball. Had an off day yesterday. You got to have an off day every once in a
Yeah,
while.
that first week of the season, there's always that opening day, then that off day, and then you
Exactly.
continue.
And it also helps that we were 7-0 in our picks on Friday or Monday, by the way. And then yesterday we just decided that we were rolling high. You know what? Let's not even mess with it. Let's take the day off. Let's just take the day off.
While we're on top.
Exactly. You know what? I'm surprised we're even doing another episode entirely of Better Baseball.
We should have just ended. We should have
right
ended on top.
Yeah, why not?
We were perfect. There's no more reason to continue on this.
Yeah, exactly. Yerman Mercedes, he should have retired after 8 for 8 right on the spot. Why continue? Why go further? There's no need to. You're 8 for 8. You bat 1,000 for your career.
You're just rolling the dice for no reason.
Exactly. But this is another edition of Better Baseball. WinDailySports.com. WinDailySports.com/chat is where you can check the chat for all of your DFS and betting needs as well. But yesterday, I want to go back to some of those games because obviously it leads into what we're going to be talking about and things that we're going to be talking about today. But yesterday, a couple things. Mets lineup woke up against the Phillies bullpen finally collapsed the way we kind of thought last season. The Reds are mashing the ball, and so are the White Sox. I mean, this is getting into impressive territory again for the White Sox. Mostly against left-handed pitching, though. It's a specific kind of moment where you're betting the White Sox. It's left-handed pitching, you bet them blindly. They just seem to hit left-handed pitching well, and it makes sense because of their right-handed bats are just so good.
I mean, they're good up and down the lineup. There's no, you're not going to have an easy out in that lineup. And when you're playing teams like Oakland and Seattle and those types of teams, I mean, that's prime spots for Chicago to just go off.
Yes, it is. And they went off. And and the Reds finally, I think now, are we just betting them again? What are we doing here?
Reds going up against, I would bet them every Pittsburgh game.
Cole, I mean, the team total has been going over the past 2 games in the series. And I think, are we just betting it again? We'll get into it a little bit more, but it just seems like the Reds have been hitting so well and the Pirates pitching just can't keep up with it.
I mean, look, Chad Kuhl will probably be better than yesterday, but I don't like the Pirates pitching head to top to bottom. So they might have a good few first innings, but I feel like the Reds are gonna beat them up again. I mean, Tyler Naquin with 7 RBI yesterday, 2 home runs. I mean, that first home run, I mean, I had the game on in the background. That first home run, I turned around immediately. My head whipped around and whoa. So, it's just, they're just having a field day and they should. And their batters are, Naquin was really good with the Indians prior, and Castellanos was good, has been good. And, they got some nice pop. And if you got pitching like Pittsburgh has, you can take advantage of those opportunities and really drive the ball.
All right, so WinDailySports.com, WinDailySports.com/chat. Get all of your DFS. We already have aces and bases up, DFS picks and pivots, starting rotation. Oh, and by the way, it's the Masters this week. We have Masters content for you. I feel like every time there's golf content, I have to whisper it or else they'll hear me. But we have Major League Baseball games today, and let's get straight into that. A couple of interesting pitching matchups, and again, I think one thing I want to highlight is, especially this Braves game, just real quick, just stay away from them for now. This is, they're obviously off to not a great start, and I think if anything, I would bet this first game. Max Fried is a great pitcher, and you know what? It's really hard because I think, are they doing the 7-inning games again? I can't remember what the rules are for this season because I know they shortened it for the 60-game season. And I know they kept a few things, but strikeouts over 5.5. I can expect that from Max Fried. He did very well against the Phillies, and the Phillies are a strikeout team, apparently. So we'll be getting to that in terms of strikeouts. But this is probably the only game that you would bet the Braves and and they would likely win it. But I don't know if I trust them, especially at this money line, even with Max Fried, that they end up winning this game. It's just there's something wrong with that bullpen. It's just they're in a funk, basically. Not saying that you should be concerned about the Braves whatsoever, but they're in a funk.
Yeah, I mean, long term, I'm not concerned about the Braves, but in the moment,
right?
I mean, their offense woke up yesterday, so they got some runs across the plate, and they seemed to hit Scherzer pretty well, and they got going a little bit. They got the offense got into a flow. I'm not concerned about Max Fried. I think he'll have a pretty good day. The day you would expect Max Fried to have against a lineup like the Nationals. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, something is missing from their total package, and I mean, they're going to figure it out one of these days. And when they do, it's going to be like a sleeping giant waking up.
Yeah, the hard part is just continuing to bet it as if like it's got to happen soon. I don't know. I think we're in the part now where happening soon. Just wait for it to happen and then go from there.
Yeah, this is one of those things where seeing is believing.
Yes,
I won't
absolutely.
I'm not really going to go out of my way to bet the Braves if there's better bets on the table. So yeah, I mean, until the Braves do it, opposite of the stock market, I'm not going to jump all in on the Braves now because they're down. I'm going to wait till they go over that hill.
Yeah, and just looking at this slate for today, we have a lot of big money lines, a bunch of mismatches. And this is where, first game of the season, first, opening day of the season, it's ace against ace. But now we're starting to see aces against back end of the rotation guys or middle rotation guys. You're not getting those, I guess, ace matchups. And so you're seeing huge money lines for today, which, I mean, for starting pitchers, by the way, go and find out on WinDailySports.com, starting pitchers from Adam Strangest. I mean, find an ace that you like and put him in. But in terms of betting on this slate, it's going to get very tough. But I'll start with this one. And this is a little bit of an afternoon game, actually, 4:00 here. San Francisco Giants against the Padres. You like this one? Blake Snell on the mound for the Padres. This series has been close in general. And the Giants have always, I should probably bet against them more, but they always scare me just with the fact that their lineup is just underrated and it just continues to hit well. Now, they didn't hit yesterday. Yu Darvish actually pitched very well against them, but there's always that potential for them to blow it open or to score 6-7 runs, and that kind of scares me a lot. But something about this game that you do like?
Yeah, I mean, it is Blake Snell against the Giants lineup. And I mean, yes, the Giants are kind of underrated, but they really haven't shown too much so far this year. And they played Seattle in that opening series. And if you're not showing stuff against a team like Seattle, I mean, you aren't as good as underrated might label you as. So I think if Blake Snell has his command, he should be beyond fine. He should, have a Blake Snell type of day. He pitched well against Arizona, even though he didn't have the best of Blake Snell outings. He only went 4.2 innings, but he had 8 strikeouts. And Arizona is on par, maybe a little better than the Giants lineup. I mean, I see some better pieces in the Arizona lineup than I see in the Giants lineup. So the fact that he only went 4.2 and had a so-so Blake Snell day against a team like Arizona, I think he can correct the ship, get his control under command, and be able to handle the Giants lineup. Now, what you might not have realized is that Kevin Gausman pitched a good game, when he started. So now, again, that was against Seattle, but I mean, he went 6.2 innings. He had 6 Ks, only 4 base runners. I mean, he pitched very well. And when you take into account that Tatis isn't in the lineup for San Diego for the foreseeable future, I mean, you might want to, not go all in on the Padres because.
Yeah, and that's where I have a tough time going all in on the Padres. And again, like this is it's tough because the Giants, they've been okay hitting this season, and it's not been overly great. But again, the underlying numbers show you that the Giants, not the underlying, but like the WOBA and runs created plus, like those numbers are in the top 10 again. Like Giants are 10th against left-handed pitching. Giants are 7th against left-handed pitching and runs created plus. They do strike out. They're in the top 10 in strikeouts against left-handed pitching, but it's the fact that there is the potential there for them to kind of blow this game up. Now, I wish Blake Snell was getting a little bit more of the ace value on the market, and this was a minus 180 game, and you can get the Giants at plus 135, plus 140. But, I think this is one where I would maybe take my chances on the Giants. I don't know if I overly like this game too much, just because the Padres, I haven't seen much from the Padres either. And that's where and they're missing Fernando Tatis Jr. Now because he has a shoulder injury. Luckily, no surgery. Thank God. Right. It's nothing serious. But that's where I get a little concerned about this one because you're paying up for a premium price, minus 157. But I don't know if I'm getting premium talent or team in the Padres.
No, you're not. No, you're not, because I was watching that game when Tatis injured himself on the strikeout, and shortly thereafter the broadcast put up a graphic. It's like, here's how the Padres stack up with Tatis in the lineup, and they're like top of the league. And then here's how they stacked up during Tatis's time without Tatis in the lineup, and they're like bottom of the league. So
yesterday showed it too. Only 3 runs, and it was a tough 3 runs.
It was a tough 3 runs. I do like the talent that they still have in the lineup. I think they can grind out a win. So I'm not totally
jumping on the Giants either.
Right.
I'm not. What you're trying to say.
I'm not running over to the Giants. I'm not really jumping off the Padres bandwagon. I think they can grind out the win, but it's not going to be like your stereotypical, fun Padres romp that we want or that we've experienced in the previous year.
No, I don't think it will be. And that's a game that kind of scares me a bit. Again, maybe it's just me, and I see things I like about that Giants lineup, and
it really comes down to Snell's command. If he has his command and he's throwing his pitches the way he should, I don't know that the Giants will be that much of a problem. But if he doesn't, if he's a little loose on his command and he's missing a spot here or there, the Giants have some power. They can jump on mistakes.
Now, of course, the Cleveland Indians taking on the Royals, and of course, when Shane Bieber's on the mound, that means he's going to get that ace value on the market, minus 200 against the Kansas City Royals. Thing is, though, Cleveland isn't really that good, and they have lineup issues. It's getting to the territory where it's almost like with Jacob deGrom the past couple of seasons with the Mets, where if he's allowing 1 or 2 runs, buddy, I'm sorry, you're probably going to lose that game. Right. And that's the territory we're getting into. They finally had 9 runs against Detroit, but then were shut out against the Royals, only 2 runs against the Tigers in their first 2 games each of the season. So this lineup's hard to trust. And am I taking my chance at plus 170 on the Royals? This is getting to the territory where all they need is maybe 1 or 2 runs, and especially the first 5 innings. Like, I think they could end up maybe winning the first 5 innings with just a 1-run, 2-run ball game.
Yeah, I definitely like the Royals in this matchup overall. Like in the game against Detroit with Shane Bieber, he got roughed up a little early. It was snowing. He gave up a couple early runs. But then he was shut down. He manhandled the Tigers lineup like after that second inning. So he had like 12 strikeouts, 6 innings, whatnot. But yeah, you're right. The Indians lineup isn't gonna necessarily give him run support. So he has to be like.
It is like Jacob Junis. I'm not going to pretend is some kind of great pitcher, but it's just But the thing is the Cleveland lineup's so bad that I even expect Junis to maybe go a few innings and pitch pretty well. Like it's that bad, I think, in Cleveland.
It is that bad. It is absolutely that bad. Like Junis has pitched 2 innings so far in relief appearances against the Rangers in that first series. Yeah. He has 10 strikeouts and 7 innings against the Rangers or whatever he did. Like, it was very good numbers against, I mean, clearly he doesn't have whatever. Sorry, I misread a stat.
No,
he has 0 earned runs and 3 strikeouts in 2 innings against the Rangers earlier this season so far.
Yeah, the 2 appearances he's had has been good.
Yeah, so I think he can do that for a handful of innings against a lineup like the Indians. I'm not scared of the Indians lineup. Junis in spring, what I was trying to say in spring, he had 10 strikeouts in 7 innings, 1 earned run. So he pitched very well in the spring. He had 2 shutdown innings against the Rangers in individual games earlier in the first series. So, I don't think Junis is going to be a problem. He's going to pitch well. The Indians lineup is basically non-existent, so I wouldn't be concerned. With the Royals defense, it's all about, can the Royals offense get runs off of Bieber? And I think they can. I mean, they can definitely get enough runs off of Bieber.
Right. As we're not asking we're not asking a lot out of this Royals lineup. Give us a few runs, give us 3 runs maybe, and that might be good enough to end up beating the Cleveland Indians. And I think so far, and Bieber is getting, of course, he was Cy Young last year, so he's going to get that kind of attention. Yes. And so you're going to see those money lines balloon up. But I mean, look at Max Scherzer's numbers against the spread or straight up. Look at Jacob deGrom straight up numbers. Yeah. It's not good. Those guys don't win most of the time because, their teams don't really help them out. Right. I think the deGrom comparison here really works well with Bieber and this lineup for Cleveland. And that means to me, if I get a plus 170 money line for their opponent, I think I'm going to take that. Yeah. That sounds fine to me.
Yeah, no, I would definitely take that. The only thing of question is like, if you're relying on Jorge Soler and Salvador Perez and those types of guys, like, they have high whiff rates. So if you got a guy like Bieber on his game, they're going to swing and miss a lot, and Bieber can get some extra outs.
This is where you hope Whit Merrifield can end up getting him a couple of runs.
That's the thing. If Whit Merrifield can stay hot and the rest of the Royals offense can build off of whatever momentum they can get, so a few hits here, a few hits there, they can get 1 run, 2 runs, whatever, a few runs in, that should be plenty to handle the Indians.
Yeah, one matchup I'm going to look at as well, Toronto and Texas, Hyunjin Ryu against Kyle Gibson. Again, you don't bet these money lines way too often. So it's not something where I'm going to be really just like eager to bet on the Toronto Blue Jays. But what I might be eager on is just to go to that team total against Kyle Gibson right away and just see what that is. It's a little bit of juice on there, but what do you expect in this matchup? And the Rangers over 3.5 is plus 116. Now, Hyunjin Ryu is good, but like we've seen with Texas, they are able to get runs on the board. They scored 7 in the last game. Maybe they can get Ryu out in the 5th, 6th inning and score a couple. But what do you think of this matchup? It's tough to bet money line, but I think when it's tough to bet money line, something easy like a team totals is easy to go to.
Yeah, I mean, well, look, with Kyle Gibson starting, I think the Blue Jays lineup should have a good first inning at least.
He has let's just see this. Through 1 game this season, 0.1 innings, he has allowed 5 earned. In point, he only went 0.1. So a third of an inning, and an ERA of 135.
he had 5 earned runs, 3 walks, 4 hits, and that's without home runs. He gave up 5 earned runs without giving up home runs. Like, he was getting hit and they were moving the ball. I mean, he walked 3 guys. Like, you can't walk the bases loaded and then pitch the way he pitched. You just can't give the other team those types of base runners. So I mean, I would hope he pitches better today than he did in that first outing, but if he's
well enough to hold the Blue Jays under the 4.5, I think over 4.5 seems like a very attainable number for the Blue Jays in this.
Yeah, game. No, I think over his look. The Rangers pitching is bad overall, And the Blue Jays offense is considerably better than the Royals, I would say, considerably better than what the Rangers pitching has faced so far. So, even in the first couple games, they had 5 runs or so yesterday, or 4 runs yesterday. They had a handful of runs. Did they play this is the second game of the series?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
No, first game, the Rangers ended up winning yesterday. I think 7-4, something around there.
Right. Rangers won 7-4 yesterday. But still, the Blue Jays had their hits. Kyle Gibson isn't good.
No.
He has bad matchups. He just has bad matchups against the Blue Jays. Lourdes Gurriel has great ISO numbers against the pitches that Kyle Gibson is throwing. So he can hit him. Ideally, he can hit him. Bo Bichette had 2 home runs yesterday, so he woke up. He's getting the juices flowing. If Kyle Gibson is even remotely close to what he did in that first game, the Blue Jays should have a great day. And it's just a matter of how quickly are they going to get that bullpen into the game. And even if they get that bullpen into the game early, that's not considerably better from the Rangers' perspective.
So, yes, it is apparently a 5-man Blue Jay stat kind of day, according to Brian. And of course, the numbers do back that up. Bottom 5 in all of baseball in hard contact rate allowed and home runs per 9 allowed in 2020. Those were in 12 starts last season. So obviously the guy has been getting smacked. And of course, guess what team can do that pretty well? I think the Toronto Blue Jays.
The Blue Jays can smack them pretty good.
Right. And I think that's where, if we're stacking teams, that basically means I think we're taking team total. So if I hear Brian stacking a team at DFS, which obviously, I go off of my own kind of, I like this matchup kind of thing. But if Brian's saying 5-man stack, that tells me, I think immediately right away, just take the team total over. That's going to be the play. So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to take the team total over 4.5. This one gets interesting. And this is a game that I don't know if I was really clamoring to talk about, but then I see the pitching matchup and the way the Brewers played last night. They actually hit pretty well. And I know Alzolay, was borderline to be in the starting rotation this year and on the major league roster. But he had strikeout stuff, and I thought the Brewers did pretty well against him. I don't know if it's enough to wake them up, and Kyle Hendricks didn't really have and get off to a great start. But I think what I want to take maybe first 5 here is Brandon Woodruff, Corbin Burns. Those guys have the stuff. And if they're on the mound, I'm okay with taking them, first 5 innings or, whenever the player props come out, checking their strikeout totals. These guys are turning into ace-type material.
Yeah. Look, the Cubs lineup hasn't shown up yet to really merit any concern as to what Woodruff is going to be throwing today. Kyle Hendricks in that opening day's start against the Pirates, he walked everybody every inning. So, it was insane how many walks the Pirates racked up that first game of the season. But the Cubs were sloppy all across the board that opening day. So, it's kind of hard to really gauge. I think Hendricks will be a lot better than he was that first game. Yeah. I think the Cubs across the board will play a lot crisper than they did in that first game against the Pirates. So, can they get hits on Woodruff? I mean, it's capable. They can do it, but I really like Woodruff's stuff, and I think the way that the Cubs are performing right now, I think Woodruff can get a nice handle on them and have a good day.
Yeah, and I think if you see it and go to the starting rotations article here, WinDailySports.com, Adam getting you ready for today's DFS slate and getting you some starting pitchers. One of them, Brandon Woodruff. Cubs ranks for just pitch types this season. They're 18th against the fastball, 14th against the changeup, and 18th against the slider. Woodruff has a fastball, changeup, and a slider that he uses primarily. So obviously the kind of pitches that the Cubs have been struggling with. Brandon Woodruff was tremendous in his first start. Hey, you know what? if you're worried about the amount of runs that the Brewers will give you, because I'm not going to pretend that the Brewers lineup has been mashing this season. It's still been a rough start. I'm not seeing what I wanted to see from Hira or Christian Yelich. I think I need to see a little bit more for me to really get excited about the Brewers again. But I've seen enough from Woodruff that I think he can shut them down for basically 5 innings, and that should be no problem for Brandon Woodruff. Am I betting on the Brewers to win this game? Yes, I probably would, because their bullpen still is good, but I at least want to take the Woodruff route here and just take them first 5 money line. And whatever the strikeout prop is, whenever that comes out, I would honestly just take the over. We're getting into second starts now for a lot of guys, and so they're going to be going deeper in the game. So I expect those strikeout props. If it's been a little bit tough, just trying to figure out, if a guy's going to stay in long, whether or not he's going to be out in 4 or 5 innings, what his pitch count is. But I think it's going to be fine enough for Woodruff to get his over on the strikeout prop. This game, though. This game. And you know what? This isn't even, I guess it's because you're getting the on the road kind of value here. Minus 165 seems a little bit low for Trevor Bauer, who's going up against the Athletics, who are, we talked about how bad Cleveland is in their lineup. Like, I bet the Athletics yesterday, just a shot in the dark. Like, first 5, they're taking on Kershaw, who struggled, and even struggled in spring training. I'm like, you know what? Kershaw's kind of figuring things out. Just, I'll throw the dart. If they get a few runs and end up winning the first 5, I'll take it. They stunk. They scored 1 run in the first inning, and that's it. This is the bad place. This is not very good for Oakland. Now they're taking on Trevor Bauer. Trevor Bauer, like in Colorado, was great for the first 5-6 innings, and then it completely imploded. But that's probably what happens when you go a little bit too deep into Colorado. But this one, minus 165, it's not, I usually would hate betting it, but it's not too bad of a bet, I would say here. You're obviously putting a lot of juice on it, but Trevor Bauer should mow through this lineup.
Yeah, he had 6 no-hit innings against Colorado in his start. Right. So, he might actually just have the no-hitter today. Like,
man, you're getting a little bit of instead of minus 167, you can just get Dodgers minus 157 in the first 5. If you're worried about the 6th, 7th inning again for Bauer, there you go. That's it. They should win the first 5 easily.
I'm not concerned about the 6th, 7th. Like, if he goes an inning too long, I'm not concerned for Trevor Bauer against Oakland. No. Like even Kershaw yesterday, he had a rough first inning. They were hitting the ball well. They got a run across the board, but then he shut them down the next 5 plus. So that's, Colorado has some pop, and they were at home. They seem to wake up that second half
eventually
of the game.
Colorado gets to you, just that stadium and
right. But if you look at Colorado, it seemed like almost every game, that first series, that come 6th, 7th inning or whatever, they exploded and had a handful of runs. So, it wasn't great to see Bauer lose that no-hitter in that fashion with all the home runs and the runs and stuff, but Oakland's not going to do that.
No, Oakland against right-handed pitching. Oakland is bottom of the league in WOBA and runs created plus. They are just above the Braves. The Braves have been horrible against right-handed pitching this season. That probably didn't help that they went up against 3 very good ones in Nola, Eflin, and Wheeler to start the season. But in terms of against right-handed pitching, they're bottom of the league in basically everything. I expect. Trevor Bauer, are we also taking strikeout prop over no matter what that number is? I'm sure it's going to be a little bit high because of the fact that, it's Trevor Bauer against this lineup. Like, it's going to be a high number. But I think they should win that.
He had 10 strikeouts in 6.1 innings against Colorado in that no-hit 6 innings. So, I would imagine if you're going to, whatever the number would be, if it's if it's 10-ish, 12-ish, whatever, I would take that.
And I don't know how much. And I don't know how much I recommend a spread in the first 5 innings. It's 1.5, but Jesus Luzardo also didn't look great.
Right.
Should they have about a 2-3 run lead by the 5th inning? That's what I'm looking at here. This is a plus money. You're trying to find plus money value out of the Dodgers. If you want to be safe, win a bet, First 5 innings, money line, just take it at -157. I actually don't think you're paying that high of a price. But the spread here, that's where you can get some plus money, and that's where things get a little bit interesting.
I mean, I could definitely see the potential for them to get some early runs. I mean, that's not out of the question. I mean, look, the Dodgers woke up yesterday even more so than what they had previously. You know, Mookie Betts got his first home run of the season. Max Muncy got his first home run of the season. Edwin Rios got his first home run of the season. You know, they're playing in Oakland. They got the DH, so you don't have Trevor Bauer hitting. Their lineup is dangerous across, you know, all 9 hitters. Yeah. So, and they didn't even have Bellinger in yesterday. So, like, can they beat up on Luzardo? Yeah, it's definitely possible. Depends on how good he is. I mean, everybody says he shows flashes of being phenomenal, but
he's got the arm talent, basically. Yeah, he has the arm talent for it.
It's there, but I haven't seen it consistently enough to go in on Luzardo. So, you know, when I look at this matchup, I'm like, yeah, the Dodgers are going to hit him, and it's up to the A's defense to prevent them from scoring. So I think the Dodgers can put up a bunch of runs early in this game, and they shouldn't have to really be concerned.
Yeah, no, I don't think they should. And so, again, I think the way we're playing this here on Better Baseball, WinDailySports.com, WinDailySports.com/chat is where you can join the Discord and go over all of this stuff with our betting experts, DFS experts on the chat. The Dodgers money line, first 5 innings, the safest play, I think, on this. They should have a lead. Trevor Bauer should be cruising through this game by then, and at least a couple of runs on Luzardo. If you want to get the plus money in this game, I think you take the first 5 spread and think the Dodgers, hey, look, if anything, I could see them up 2-0. Like, I guess what I'm expecting here, or what I'm trying to get out of the Dodgers, is just a couple of runs in this game, and Trevor Bauer will do the rest. He should shut them out basically through 5 innings. And then, 6th, 7th inning, if it happens again where he allows a few runs, then so be it. But I think the Dodgers here on the spread, that offense is good enough where you could probably get more than a couple of runs against Luzardo in the first 5, and you expect Trevor Bauer to be so good. I'm going to take the plus money there. I think it's good enough money, and it's a good enough matchup where it warrants it a little bit. And if you want to get that return on your investment, that is the way to do it. And of course, do you need to put Trevor Bauer in your lineup? What about Brandon Woodruff? Check out the starting row pitchers article from Addis, and then also MLB DFS picks and pivots. All of it can be found at WinDailySports.com. All right, last matchup that we are going to go over today, and this one, it's a sort of interesting one. First of all, this team has been hitting pretty well as of late. The times are killing me because I'm not used to all these afternoon games. But we have the Twins against the Tigers. Kenta Maeda on the mound against Matthew Boyd. All I know is, I don't know if he can do it 3 days in a row, but maybe Nelly Cruz with another home run. He has been on fire. But what about this matchup? Maeda's getting, obviously, because he's also facing the Tigers, but he's probably their best pitcher as well. So this seems to be a good spot for the Twins. But where are you going in this? Is it team total, anything to help you bet this one?
Well, I mean, I love Maeda in this matchup against the Tigers lineup. Yeah. I mean, even if Akil Baddoo continues his hot streak for the Tigers, I'm not scared of the Tigers lineup. I think Maeda should be able to cruise in this game. I mean, like, even in his first start, I mean, he still struggled with his slider and wasn't phenomenal, but he still went 4+ and had 5 strikeouts. I mean, he should be able to get his control down and have his command and work the Tigers lineup pretty much top to bottom. I mean, there's a few spots where you may get hit up a little bit, but there's not a consistent threat with the Tigers. So, Maeda should have a very nice routine Kenta Maeda strong, solid outing and be able to cruise for the most part. The things I'm looking at are the Twins offense. Like, I think Nelson Cruz can continue his home run streak. I mean, there was plays.
Let's take a shot. Let's take a shot in the dark with it. Let's get another Nelly Cruz home run in there.
Yeah, I like what Nelly has been doing. I mean, he's 3 for 5 yesterday. He's 7 for 13 overall, 3 home runs, 7 RBI. Like, even there was one at bat where he hit a foul ball down the line. It almost looked like a home run, and he was like, "Was that a home run?" Nobody knew, and they took forever to review it. Then the next pitch, he hit a home run. So, he should be able to continue making solid contact and crushing the ball out of Comerica. There's also Byron Buxton. I mean, he pinch hit yesterday, but he's been smashing the ball too, and he has 3 home runs over these first handful of games. I mean, yesterday or so he had a 451-foot home run. I mean, maybe Matthew Boyd holds them down a little bit at the beginning, but I mean,
I don't expect him to do it for long.
I mean, in the long run, I think the Twins will be up there, mashing the Tigers pitching left and right, and I mean, they should have a nice, they should have a nice win. Yesterday they kind of got tied up and went into extras, and Badu had the walk-off hit, but I don't see the Tigers being a consistent threat to Minnesota for, a game with Kenta Maeda pitching.
Yeah. All right. So here's what we're going with. Here's our board for today. Max Fried, I think, even though it is 7 innings, 5.5 strikeouts over for 7 innings, I think we're going to take that. I think that's pretty good.
Yeah.
So look, I thought, the Washington Nationals bats looked good, but I think Max Fried is going to get over on the strikeouts props there. And finally, Braves get a win. Finally, right?
I mean, it's 7 innings, so yeah, I would.
You think 7-inning shutout for Max Fried?
After 7 innings yesterday, could they have gotten the win? I mean, Nationals had to walk it off, so
yeah. So we'll take Max Fried over. I think the Royals on the money line plus 170. That's our kind of our big money line dog play here. It happens in Major League Baseball. That's what we try and find. We try and find the big money line dogs because it happens almost every single day on every single slate for Major League Baseball. You're going to get one of these. I think the best spot for it is the Royals. You're getting a huge price on Shane Bieber, but I don't think it kind of warrants it with the way Cleveland has been hitting. So we're going to take plus 170 in the Royals, over 4.5 for the Blue Jays. And if you're on DFS, I mean, we are recommending WinDailySports.com to stack about 5 Blue Jays in your lineups against Kyle Gibson. Milwaukee Brewers, we're taking him on the first 5 against the Cubs. That is basically just putting all of our trust in Brandon Woodruff. And here with the Dodgers, the safe play, minus 157 on the money line for the first 5 innings. But when I take that out, it'll give you the price plus 165 on the spread in the first 5 innings for the Dodgers. And that's actually gone down, as you see there on the arrow. So apparently that seems to be a pretty popular play. And I think that's one I like. Nelson Cruz plus 300 at home run. Why not? Try it out. See if it happens. Over 4.5, though, for the Twins. We like the matchup against Matthew Boyd, and I think maybe the WinDailySports.com guys do as well, which, by the way, WinDailySports.com is where you can check out their plays. All right, Brian, it's been a great day. An interesting slate today. It's a lot of interesting pitching matchups, and I think we can probably look at a few and take advantage of it either with the team totals or like we're doing with the Royals, and take advantage of what could be a too high of a price for a guy like Shane Bieber with Cleveland not playing so well. So it's been an interesting slate.
It's an interesting day. I mean, one thing that we didn't talk about in the Blue Jays game is, Hyun-Jin Ryu hasn't pitched against the Rangers in his career. I think only 2 members of the Rangers lineup.
So unpredictability now, they don't know kind of what's
I still predict Ryu to be his usual shutdown Cy Young caliber stuff. I mean, that shouldn't be the concern. But, we don't know how he pitches against Gallo. We don't know how he pitches against Kiner Falefa. The only 2 players he's pitched against is Culberson and David Dahl, so it's kind of a question mark. I don't think it'll be that big of a concern, but yeah, you gotta, be a little interested in what the Rangers can do against a pitcher that they haven't seen before.
Right.
And, that the pitchers haven't seen him, either. And remember, most of these games today are afternoon games in their
I know
local time
it's
slots.
throwing me off.
Yeah. I was looking at my schedule for work, and I was like,
games start at noon. We actually have a game in like less than an hour here, Brian.
We have games happening like right now through, there's only 2 evening games. There's one at like 6:30 Eastern, and there's one at like 7 or 8 or whatever.
Man.
Like it's crazy. So, will that impact people? Will getaway days be, for any of those teams finishing up a series? Or, certain things like that matter. Like, how well does a team play in the day compared to how well do they play at night? So, it's early in the season. We have yet to really see those trends, but
I think interesting
to consider.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of afternoon games today, but here is again one quick look at the board that you can be seeing here. These are our plays for today here on the Bettor Baseball Podcast. That is it for the Bettor Baseball Podcast, though. My name is Jon Jansen, joined by Brian Slone at OneFanPowerTrip. You can follow him on Twitter. You can follow me at JJansen34. Be sure to stay locked in at Win Daily Sports on Twitter, WinDailySports.com for all of your baseball needs for today. Good luck, and let's get some winners. How about that? Let's go with another perfect day here, the Bettor Baseball Podcast.